This is LVWS Confidential. I'm Gerald Bentley. Today, we are joined by the Big Hype, Duke Lawrence, the Las Vegas Giant, former Destination 6 heavyweight champion, and guy who's looking to bring the big energy to the Las Vegas wrestling scene this year in 2023. Duke, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Pleasure.
Yeah, hey, if people haven't had a chance to see you wrestle and they think, hey, independent wrestlers, they're smaller guys, the big guys are all on TV, or they were from a different generation, because now a lot of the big wrestlers are, they're 5'10", 6 feet tall and 215, 220. That's not you. You're 6'7", 6'8", and tipping the scales about where?
6'7", weighing at 315. I was 325, but we're dropping that weight down a little bit. Yeah.
Getting the speed.
Yeah.
I watched, just getting ready to talk, I watched a match with you and Caljack.
Oh, yeah.
Former NCAA championship wrestler, and you were going right at him. It was in Phoenix. You have a lot of athleticism. You're deceptively athletic for your size.
Yeah, I like to definitely surprise people like that. They see me and they think, just a big guy. Don't realize that I'm actually pretty light on my feet. So, yeah.
Now, what got you into professional wrestling?
So this started as a kid. I grew up in a family full of athletes, starting with my father. My father was a former Olympic wrestler in the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
For,
Okay.
yeah, he was for Greco-Roman. So growing up around him, it was the same year that Kurt Angle went to the Olympics, and they were teammates. So just growing up with him, and he would be watching, WCW, WWF and stuff, and I always had me sitting right there with him watching it. So it was always, in my life. Before I went into professional wrestling, I was playing basketball. I was playing basketball all the way to college. I got into amateur wrestling and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So that definitely helped me start off in professional wrestling. It
Sure.
gave me the flexibility, it gave me the speed, the explosiveness. So yeah, it definitely played a big factor in that. So professional wrestling has been in my life for a long, long time, as long as I can remember.
Well, that explains a lot of the smoothness of your moves and doing a little chain wrestling and
Yeah.
working body parts. So
Yeah.
how much amateur wrestling did you do?
I did it for 2 years. I was fairly new, but my father training under him. I didn't do any small tournaments. They were all national tournaments.
Hmm.
I always told him like, hey, can we do this little tournament over here? He was like, no, like you're only doing national level tournaments,
Yeah.
and definitely helped me get me up to speed. My very first one, it was a good learning experience. I didn't get pinned, so it was very nice, like that I could compete at that level. Like my second national tournament, I placed top 10 in the nation. So yeah, it was very good. It was a very good learning experience, and it definitely helped me improve not only athletically, but it helped me improve like as a person, like character wise too. The same with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Definitely taught me
Sure.
be patient with a lot of things stuff too. So it helped a lot.
Yeah. Going into 2023, what year does this mark for you as a professional wrestler?
So I am a little over 2 years in professional wrestling. I say over 2 years. I count like training wise, debut, everything. So yeah, a little over 2 years into professional wrestling. It's definitely been great. I've been able to travel. I've been blessed to be able to travel to different states. From wrestling here to wrestling in California, to Utah, to Illinois. So it is definitely a lot of fun, to experience the journey. Yeah, the trips are hard, they're long and hard, but it's very rewarding especially to get out there, get to perform in front of a new crowd, and know that you're performing well based off of their reactions.
Sure.
It's really really nice experience.
Now, was it coincidental that you got into pro wrestling in a big way in Las Vegas? Or did you move to Las Vegas in part to get into pro wrestling at a higher level?
It was always a thing for me to get into professional wrestling. Moving to Las Vegas, it was more of at the time it was me and my sister living together, and it was like, what, we need a change of scenery, and we were like, well, why not Las Vegas? So my sister is in mixed martial arts, so of course that was the perfect place for her.
Sure.
And, you know, I knew a few places in Las Vegas that I've heard about that have professional wrestling and stuff. So I was like, why not? Let's just make the move and go there. And before I got into it fully, I took my time. I attended shows like some FSW shows. Like I've been there, and people don't realize it, but I was getting tickets and I was sitting like towards the back, and nobody would like
Uh-huh.
I know like I was there or noticed like a big guy was just there sitting there watching them. So I've been around for a while before I got into pro wrestling here.
Okay. Well, great. So, who was most helpful with you in getting going?
Oh man, I would say, I mean, outside of my family, like they were always telling me, just work towards your goals, work towards your dreams and stuff. But outside of my family, I would have to say the one person that actually got me into it was Shaggy McLovin. That was the
Okay.
main person that was like, he's outside of all that that's going on in wrestling. He is like actually one of my best and closest friends. So we moved when I moved here. It was actually the first person I made friends with when I moved out here. We ended up working together, and
Oh, okay.
as I was studying tape on like FSW shows and stuff, I noticed that he was in it, and I was like, "Hey, you do pro wrestling?" And ever since then, we clicked and we became really good friends. And he got tired of me just talking about being a
Huh.
pro wrestler. And one day on my birthday, he asked me if I wanted to be a part of, one of his matches and whatnot, and he brought me down to Versus Pro Wrestling, and he introduced me to Wes Logan and
Hmm.
Shay, and he was like, "Hey, this wasn't the only reason why I brought you down here." He was like, "Here's your birthday present," and he handed me like a wad of cash, and I was like, "Whoa, like." What is this for? He was like, "That's your first month's due, so get in there and get to work." And he was just like, "I'm tired of you procrastinating, so get on in there." That's where it all started. So he played a major role in that, and that was the main person I worked with and traveled with a little bit. Like my first out of state booking was with him and stuff too. So yeah,
Okay.
so that's where I
So,
started.
does not match the nickname, the Sin City Scumbag.
No,
No, not at all.
really, really, really cool dude. Like a really good person and stuff. And yeah, I vouch for him. That's like my brother right there. It's real life. Him and his whole family, they're like family. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, and that's one thing that really has jumped out to me over the last, now almost a year
Mhm.
of doing these interviews for the Las Vegas wrestling scene. Just the sense of community, the family feel
Yeah.
that you hear, and you hear from everybody, the different companies working together, the different promotions. I
Mhm.
know you were posting about the Graphouse premiere coming
Yeah.
up in April.
Mhm.
You got Graphouse, you got Pride Style versus FSW, which is, I'd say like a super independent because
Mhm.
national exposure on Fight TV with
Yeah.
pay per views, and then the FSW network. So you get in there, you're getting national exposure and really just any of the Vegas promotions because you get the repetitions, you have the chance to get out there and be seen. That has to be a huge help.
Yeah. I And a lot of people like to even ask, like, I've been in every single gym, every single like venue for each promotion, and they'll always ask me, like, man, like, where do you train? Where do you train? And to be honest, like, with Duke Lawrence as a whole, like, it's collectively, I tell everybody, like, I'm a product of Vegas. Every single place, whether it's FSW that's helped me out, Dark Arts with Cal Jack and Super Beast, or work at FSW with Kenny King, Sin Bodie, Cutthroat, Cody, Damian Drake, many others, and especially versus where I first started, with
Yeah.
Wes Logan, Shade, working with Shaggy, like collectively all together, like I'm just a product of Vegas. Like that's just it. Like I get very great advice from everywhere I go, and I just piece it together and just put it into what Duke is, like, and I try to prove to everybody with that Duke Lawrence character that I'm not just all hype, pun intended, so,
Yeah.
so yes, I'm just a product of Vegas, man. Like everybody has collectively helped me out, so that's flowers to each and everybody, so, and, yeah, I can't just be like, hey, like, I'm from here, I'm from there. Like
Hmm.
everybody in Vegas has helped me out, so yeah.
Speaking of products of Vegas, if people check out your social media, if they look at
Mm.
Instagram or Twitter, I know there's a couple of products of Vegas, 1 year old, that are
Yeah.
really big parts of your life. You got twin daughters, 1 year
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
What's it like managing being a working parent, a wrestling parent, and having twin one?
Um, it was definitely tough at first. On a really personal level, like the one person that like I definitely looked at towards as like motivation within the pro wrestling scene was Papa Yase, and
Yeah,
one of the people that I like look to, like he's a father. He works just like I do, he works, he takes care of his daughter, his family, his woman, and to see how he's all putting that together, and like and it's tough. Like being the parent is tiring, and like you go on to make sure that they're putting to sleep, and sometimes the girls will wake up or the babies will wake up in the middle of the night,
sure.
so that was definitely one person that I actually was able to look at and watch and see, like, he's able to do it. Like if he can do it, like I know I can do it and stuff. So there's definitely times where I went through those dark stages, like, and even asked myself, like, man, like, do I want to keep doing this? Like, should I keep doing this? Like, am I able to do it and still balance everything out? But watching Yase was definitely like a motivating thing, and even seeing him come to like practices at times and bringing his daughter and stuff like that, and still getting work and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's neat.
yeah, he's definitely a huge little motivator for me. Seeing him do it and everything, and even Wes Logan, man, Wes Logan is wrestling, running a company, taking care of his kids, and that's yeah, Wes Logan and Papiase. Those were the main ones that like that I definitely like look to as motivators, like just seeing other people with kids in the pro wrestling business, balance everything out, so like that, and that just kept positive hope, like kept a lot of hope for me, and being able to actually stick to this and do it and travel, and make sure that they're good and stuff, and it's nice to know on top of that that I can actually sit with my daughters and watch wrestling and they actually enjoy
Yeah.
it. It's actually nice. I brought them to a Pride Style show once, and they stayed awake the whole time. Like they didn't make a noise at all.
Yeah, that's neat. I mean, it's definitely a balancing act, right? I mean,
Yeah.
people that have kids, have new parents, working a job, because that's an adjustment.
Yeah.
Now add in having to work out, having to train, and then have the matches. That had to be a difficult transition, especially considering it was basically just as you started wrestling. I mean,
Mhm.
because you're working on taking care of the kids before they're born. So I mean, it would basically coincide with your whole career.
Yeah, it was definitely rough. Even freaking finding out when I was, first having the twins and stuff, it was like, man, like trying to think of time wise, like, will I be able to still do it? I just started kickstarting my career, started traveling, and I'm like, man, like I don't know if I'll still be able to do this, like do what my one of my dream careers is, and it's
Yeah.
like, man, how can I do it? How can I do it? And yeah, just like I said, those two motivators, just seeing them and how they were able to balance that out and still take care of their kids and stuff was it definitely helped a whole lot, getting ready for it and also having them into the world and stuff and taking care of them and all this. It was really nice, and they even Wes, he reach out like, hey, like, if this is something that you need or whatever, or if you need help or something, just let me know. So definitely a big help.
Now, what would you say has been the biggest match you've had so far, or the biggest event you've gotten to work?
Oh man, let's start with the biggest events. I think that would.
Sure.
oh, oh man, the biggest event I had to work. Um, I'm gonna mention two of them
Okay.
because there was they were both like really really good. The number one thing was Level Up Expo, which will be coming up soon.
Hmm.
Um, Level Up Expo was crazy. I participated for the first time last year, and I just remember walking into the convention center, while they're setting up, and I'm like, man, this place is huge. And then seeing the setup for us for wrestling, I'm like, whoa, like this is really huge. Like we have like a big
Yeah.
stage and everything's all decorated and decked out. You got Mario decorations and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then being able to like, mix my gear with some of my cosplay like outfits, stuff like that. Like I had a red and black and I mixed it with a Red Hood cosplay and got to walk out
Uh
with
huh.
that. It was nice to actually be able to mix both of those together, like while I was tag teaming with Principe Leon as the pack, and it was really
Okay.
nice. It was really really good experience. And then the second one is definitely Phoenix Pro Wrestling. Um, you first walk in there, it's in a theater. It's like a little old school theater, amphitheater, and you walk in, and it's just the whole space like before setup is just it's huge, and you're
Hmm.
like, oh man, like I didn't realize like how big this was. And then once the show starts and you see how quickly the theater fills up, and I'm like, oh wow, like there's a lot of people here just sitting there watching. And the energy over there, like energy at both places was just awesome. And it's very it, I remember I was so tired through that 10-hour drive all the way to Petaluma for PPW and be like, man, I don't think I have the energy. But then once you walk out to the curtain and the crowd's cheering, it wakes you up like, whoa, like
Yeah.
it's really awesome. Yeah, definitely both of those for the biggest like shows that I worked. And as far as my biggest match, oh, biggest match.
I
I
know the one that I saw that I thought was really a standout match was you against Cal Jack at PPW.
Yeah, that was definitely really good. Uh, During that match, I actually ended up spiking my head on the mat, and I got like a little tingly thing on the right side of my head, like the whole right side of my head right
Mm.
here was just tingling. I was like, "Oh!" I was like, "Cal," I was like I'm hurt. He was like, "Oh no, like are you okay? You sure?" Like I'm like, "We can finish this out. Like just, I remember everything. Just let's just keep this going." He's like, "All right, you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, we got this." And me thinking the whole time, like, man, I was like, the end of that match probably looks so terrible. And then I would go back and look, and it actually looked really good. So I
Yeah.
probably say it's a tie. it's going to be at the same venue at PPW, but it's a tie between the match against Caljack and then the match against Drake Frost over at PPW.
Okay.
Um, I say that because energy level. I didn't expect the crowd to actually get behind our match that easily, and that was one of the matches where I did show a little bit more athleticism and chain wrestling and stuff, and show a little bit more about. I tried to show, yeah, pretty much showed everybody in Petaluma what the big hype was all about, and then that was it, and it felt great. It was awesome. So I would say those two matches are very very close.
Yeah, terrific. Kind of like the Cody Rhodes song. The adrenaline was in your veins, right?
Definitely,
Crowd was waiting for you to
yeah,
step into the
adrenaline
ring.
was definitely pumping through that match for sure. I was nervous on that match with Drake Frost because that was my debut, and the crowd just got behind me just right away, and I was like, wow, like this feels great. Like I'm tired, but I have that extra energy that just kept me going. So it's yeah, very good.
Yeah. Now, talking about the Level Up Expo, because it does hit with a few of your interests. I know you have a Twitch channel as well.
Yes, I
Do the
do.
gaming.
Yeah, so my Twitch channel is Laceration, so it's X and then capital letters Laceration and then a lowercase X. Um, I stream a bunch of games. Gaming has been in my life for forever. But even I was brought up. My first console I ever played was the Super Nintendo, and
Okay.
just growing up as a gamer and just loving it, and not just it being something of a pleasure but also like an escape, so like if I have like a bad day or having a rough time, I could get on and play with some of my friends. Like I even have a little gaming group for that, so like if people are having a bad time, like it basically helps with like the mental health and stuff. We get together, we'll vent about stuff while we're playing or whatnot, whether we're playing all together or playing separate games and stuff. And it definitely helps a whole lot. It helps relieve
Yeah.
some of that mental tension and stuff. But yeah, I definitely have that. I stream games such as like NBA 2K, Call of Duty. Yu-Gi-Oh is a big one that's been in my life for a while, as long as I can remember,
Okay.
and Pokemon. So there's a lot of different stuff that I'll stream off of there. So,
Well, it is a way because, even though we should be so much more connected now with all the technology,
yeah,
it is really the case with a lot of people that they're closed off. There's
Mhm.
plenty of people that literally don't know their next door neighbors' names. So if you can create that sense of community, that really is great.
yeah,
And I'm sure it does really add something too, especially if you can connect all the different elements of your personality together or your life together.
yeah. It's really nice. Like we've definitely within our group. It started with just me and one of my best friends named Corey, and it started from like just us two, and we added like two more people and then two more people on top of that, and we have like a group of at least like 12 people that will get together. And then if we want to talk about stuff, we talk about stuff, and if
Yeah.
we're don't, we're just chilling together. And that's just how it is. We try to just we're very small, but we've definitely helped out like a lot of people, get through their days and stuff like that when they don't have really anybody to talk to and stuff. So but yeah, well, we've talked about it, me and my friend Corey, and we talked about branching out even more, and trying to make it seem like if we could get a Twitch community doing that, or a
Mhm.
Facebook community and stuff for Facebook gaming, and see if we could do that for people and stuff. And he's down with it, and I'm down with it. So it's just a matter of when we're going to kickstart that. So,
Okay. Well, something to keep a lookout on. You,
yeah,
you also mentioned that you had Red Hood cosplay.
yeah,
So into comics, because there's again a huge alignment. Comics, wrestling,
Mhm.
video games, anime, they all kind of
They just
bleed
meshed together.
together.
Yeah. Yeah, Red Hood was actually my favorite character within the Batman series. I followed Jason Todd back when he was Robin,
Hmm.
and going from there all the way to when he was killed by the Joker and then formed his Red Hood, and it just stuck with me. Like I couldn't care less about the other like supporting characters like Nightwing or the Robin and all that. It was just Red Hood from there, and um, I was very excited about the Level of Expo, and I was like, man, like I should cosplay, and I
Yeah,
did. I remember taking pictures with a few people there and stuff, and everybody's really cool there. Like you take pictures and like, oh man, that's awesome. Like, can we get a picture? And we'll just all group up, on for
sure.
a picture. And yeah, it's really fun, really fun.
Well, and it gives you a basis for a rivalry with Damian Drake
Yeah,
because if you like
yeah,
Jason Todd, the Red Hood, Damian Wayne, Tim Drake, the Red
yeah,
Robin, that's
hmm yeah.
a
That's
battle made right there.
Yeah, I just had a match with Damien Drake at Pride Style. I would definitely love a one-on-one match with him. Like I feel like we'll definitely be make some fireworks, and it's also another shout out to Damien Drake. That was one of the people that I met a while back before I got into pro wrestling. And that's one guy that we definitely give flowers to because I still remember to this day, and I always bother him by bringing this day up.
Mhm.
I went to a FSW event at Sam's Town, and this was, if I remember correctly, this was the same show. I believe he went against Remy Marcel and the Money Bros, and he teamed up with Ice Williams and Shaggy McLovin. I
Okay.
remember just seeing him come out from this entrance and just running towards the ring, diving over it and landing on Remy Marcel. That one day after that, or that night after that, I came up to him and he was going through some things and, he wasn't having a good day, but he still took the time out, to stop and, shake my hand, take pictures and stuff. And I would show him like, man, like I always kept this picture because this is the day, like, that's actually like memorable to me. Like, you were having a bad day and a tough day and it was obvious to see, but, you still took that time out, to step to the side and engage your fans, take pictures and stuff, give
Yeah.
hugs, handshakes, and all that stuff. So, very really cool guy too. Really cool guy.
Oh, that's great. And that's something too that I'm sure is rewarding when you're
Yeah.
on that trip, you're
Mhm.
driving the 10 hours, just the connection with the fans, which is
Yes.
something that the indie shows really give you. And there's, like I said before, there's nothing wrong with going to Impact, going to WWE, going to AEW. They're great events,
Mhm.
terrific to go to. But the one-on-one connection, the ability to be one of 700, one of 1,000 people in the theater and actually make eye contact with the wrestlers,
Yeah.
that only happens at the independent level.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of people. I just at first coming from a fan, thinking exactly like that. Like it's rare to actually have that connection with a wrestler, and it's most of the time it's not just the fact that they're not wanting to. It's just the fact that, they gotta go from one place to another, like me,
Yeah,
I a WWE event before. And even the announcers, like I remember seeing the announcers walking out through the main entrance and stuff. And I mean, they were still speed walking, trying to rush because they had to get to the next place. And
yeah,
they
had to get to
they
his
were
flight or get
yeah,
on the road, sure.
they were cool enough to stop by, and say hey. And I wish I remember the announcers' names, but it was when 205 Live was a thing, and they were announcers for 205 Live.
Okay.
They came by and they say, "Hey, what's going on?" and snapped a picture with me, and then they had to take right off. So, but yes, having that one-on-one connection at an indie show is great. You get to like not only like shake their hand, take a picture, but you get to like talk to them and stuff. And actually have a conversation, and it's nice. And I try to do that often too. Like I know we try to have our characters and stuff, but there's times where we stay in character, and there's times where we should just step out of that character
Yeah,
and stuff, and actually engage the fans. The people that take their time out to take videos and tag you in it, especially when you're waiting months and months for your footage to get out, and they get good footage of you wrestling and stuff. So
mhm.
very nice to do that. There's people that I will shout out right now, the fans, like uh, Brandy Lowry, also my other homie Brandy as well, that always gets always the good photos right away in the videos, and she'll tag us. She'll be like, "Here's my photos of Duke Lawrence. Here's my photos of Bodie." She's a huge J Vidal fan, huge number one, and
Yeah.
and man, like, and that's one of the people too that they definitely will actually support you and take pictures, make signs and stuff too. And then Garth has definitely been a
Hmm.
huge factor in the Las Vegas like wrestling scene. Period. And whether he's supporting shows or coming to by, to watch him and stuff, and definitely take the time out of his day too. And definitely a huge shout out to all the fans, whether you're from Vegas or uh, California and stuff, just taking that time out to actually support the wrestlers and take photos and videos and stuff and tagging us. And we all see that. We all appreciate that because we wait months and months to get our footage and stuff. And, it's tough when we want to see like how we did or what we like, the visual effect of how we did things and stuff. So definitely a good thing.
Yeah, and that's a big part of the idea of doing these interviews too, is to give a medium where the wrestlers, the promoters, the contributors can really kind of tell their story and get a
Yeah.
chance to talk, get a little bit of exposure beyond just that time in the mat. Well,
Mhm.
and hey, for this week, Duke, you're the LVWS champion. So we'll go into the championship round here, kind of wind it down.
Alrighty.
Big part of independent wrestling is getting a chance to check out the gear from the different wrestlers.
Mhm.
Why Twisted Metal?
Oh man, so Twisted Metal is one of my signature moves. Twisted Metal is also a gaming reference, so a lot of my moves have gaming references in them. So Twisted
Okay.
Metal was one of them. I had used that move against my former tag team partner Prince Pair when we had to go in the singles match just to like promote the move and stuff. Um, there was also another one that I currently use now called the Duke Nukem, and
Mhm.
still another video game
Yeah,
reference.
off the video game, sure.
Yeah. It's just like little things where I could still, combine the gaming aspect along with my wrestling as well to make it like, a nice little nostalgic feel with the devastating move, trying to put that both together and stuff. But yeah, Twisted Metal was my power bomb stunner. I set up for
Okay.
a power bomb, I toss him up in the air and catch him into a stunner. So I called that Twisted Metal. But yes, it's just trying to mix and mash like my video game life with my professional wrestling life and just put those together and stuff. But yeah, that's why for a Twisted Metal,
Okay. Good
the
answer.
yeah.
How about the single most influential pro wrestler to you? You said you've watched it for years.
Mm.
What pro wrestler jumped out at you and said, "Hey, that's what I want to do"?
Oh, um, I'm going to say there's three people that definitely did that for me. As a little kid, it was The Rock, The Rock for sure.
Hmm.
But the I would say The Rock, John Cena for sure. I was definitely a Cena super fan.
Okay.
Bought the album and everything. Um, Also one person that did stick out, who's also a local here too. The Human Tornado was definitely one of them. I
Okay.
always his energy, and I think that's like where I kind of like get my energy from. Like I always see come out dancing and stuff, incorporating his dance moves into his wrestling and stuff, and it's awesome to see that. And then John Cena, like his energy where he gets fired up, and
Sure.
of course The Rock, like how he just like captivates like everything, and it has everybody get behind him. It's Arrow, those three right there will be the. But if I had to pick one out of all of those, it'll probably be Cena. I was a
Okay,
huge Cena fan, very huge.
good. What's coming up this year for the big hype, the Las Vegas Giant?
Oh man, whew. I'm actually blessed this year to start off with a lot of great bookings. Very busy now. I have, um, let's see, coming up. Actually, I'll be leaving this Friday for another Phoenix Pro Wrestling event. Um,
Okay,
right after that, turning around, going to Fresno for Best of the West. Um, of course, we got the Expo coming up, Level Up Expo, Pride Sal again, um, awaiting Graphouse, of course, like you mentioned earlier. It, this is, I think what's coming up for me is just, I think this is probably the year where, I show people that I'm not just all hype, and I show people that your eyes should and need to be on me. That for that previous year, it was hard to get that attention. We
hmm
were as far as the new up and comers, I think last year was more of a Nick Xander year, and now this upcoming year, I'm trying to push that into a Duke Lawrence year, you know,
okay,
to trying to like branch out and stuff like that. And yeah, and again, Nick is awesome. I wrestled him. Was awesome. We very clicked very well. Very cool guy. But yeah, I think that's just what's up for me. It's just to show everybody here in Vegas and Cali and everywhere else I go that like I'm the person that you need to keep your eyes on.
okay, great. And why wouldn't you keep your eye on the big hype and the Las Vegas Giant?
Yeah,
Hey, Duke, thanks a lot for joining us here.
and not a problem.
Appreciate you making the time. We got the job, you got wrestling, you got the 1-year-old twins. You
Yeah.
definitely have a lot on your hands. It's good that you have the big energy.
Oh yeah, I gotta keep a good energy no matter where I go. Just try to keep a positive vibe. My goal is to make everybody smile or happy like every day. Smile a day keeps the doctors away. That's why I tell my associates at work. Yeah,
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 awesome. Best of luck as we head into 2023, and I'm sure we'll be talking with you again here on LVWS Confidential. Thanks a lot.
hey,
Appreciate you.
thank you.
Sure.